Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. From the studios of Boise State Public Radio News, I'm Gemma Gaudette. This is Idaho Matters. We have a real treat for book lovers and dreamers alike. Joining us today is author Ashley Jordan, whose new novel, Once Upon a Time in Dollywood, is already making waves in the literary world. This novel is set against the sparkling backdrop of Tennessee's beloved theme park, and the story weaves romance and nostalgia, even a little bit of Southern magic, into one unforgettable journey. And Ashley is joining us now to talk more. Ashley, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. That was an amazing intro.
Oh, well, thank you. So, Ashley, give us a quick synopsis of this new novel.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So it is about a woman named Eve. She's a playwright and she's kind of going through it. She is having a hard time in her personal life. Her professional life is going pretty well, but personally, she has had, she's just had a miscarriage and she's have some baggage from when she was a teenager. So she decides that she sort of needs a break from her life. And so she decides to go down to Tennessee and stay in her grandmother's home and try to write her next play. And she really thinks that she wants to be alone. But then she meets this guy, Jamie, who is a single dad, and he's kind of the sunshine to her, this cloud in her life. And yeah, they fall into like and then into love after there's some false starts and stops and all that. But yeah, eventually it's a romance, so they get their happy ending.
Okay, so can I ask you why Dollywood? I mean, the book is called Once Upon a Time in Dollywood. So, what made you choose this setting for the story?
So I sort of backed into it. The story always took place in this area of the country because I love the South. I'm from Atlanta, and so originally when I wrote the story, the character was from Atlanta, and I wanted her to go to be somewhere that wasn't too far away from home, but somewhere where she could be isolated but not unsafe. Since there's a park there, there's the Smoky Mountain National Park, so she would still be near people if she needed to be, but she could still be isolated. And when I got my agent, I had that title because it was a play on obviously Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and that was the locale. And my agent was like, "We need to play up the Dollywood aspect a little bit more." And so I was able to use that fairy tale aspect and make Dollywood sort of this fairy tale place for Eve and this place that she's dreamed of half her life and never went to. And so I think it really kind of worked out well. Someone called it fate. I don't know if that's the word, but it just like I said, I backed into the Dollywood aspect of it by just needing
Mhm.
something for her to have hope about.
So, Eve really feels like someone I think a lot of readers will connect with. I mean, in particular, you said, she had recently suffered a miscarriage. That happens to so many women, and I think
Mhm.
they suffer in silence, right?
Yes.
Um, so I'm curious as to why you decided to make that a part of her story, and was that inspired by anyone in your own life?
No, not particularly. I think because like you said, it is just so common and a lot of times we A might not even know it and B don't
Hmm.
really have the space to talk about it. And so, it is like you said, suffering in silence. And she's actually this is her third one. So it's been this journey.
Mm.
She's been trying to have this child. And I think that I think especially for me, I'm in my 30s and women in their 30s, they hear that clock ticking and it becomes this sort of, it can become a sort of obsession. Like, what do I want? I'm running out of time. I have to figure out if I'm going to do this, do I want to do this? And so I think I really want to explore that in a lot of my work because women, we do not have it easy. Like I said, the clock starts ticking and you have to figure out
Yeah.
what you want your life to be beyond 30s. So I think that exploring that through her was cathartic in a way. And also, I want women to feel seen. So, yeah.
Well, and I really appreciated that. I mean, I had my children in my later 30s and
Mm,
suffered a miscarriage as well.
mm,
And it is something that you said that I think women in particular in our 30s we struggle with. We you build this life for yourself or this idea of what your life is going to look like.
mhm,
And I mean, as you know, I'm sure just even personally and in your writing, Life has a way of kind of laughing at us. And it feels to me like Eve is struggling with that
Yeah.
when she ends up in Tennessee.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, has this fiance and she thinks she's taking all the right steps to get where she thinks she wants to go. But yeah, when she gets to Tennessee, she's sort of forced to reconcile with all these things that she thought she wanted and figure out what she actually wants. Maybe I don't even want to be a mother. It's just that,
Mm.
society has told me and this thing was taken away from me and I've been chasing it so long. I think that's what I want. And she meets Jamie and is like, actually, maybe I don't have to have it this exact way.
Hmm. I think you do a really good job also of blending humor and hope, but heartache. And I think sometimes, if you read a book that has these themes, in particular around things like infertility, right? Pregnancy loss,
Mhm.
it can be
Mhm.
really uh deep and daunting and tough to read. This was not. So was that emotional balance intentional from the beginning, or did it evolve as you wrote the book?
Interesting. I think I was a little bit scared of that it would be too heavy. And so like even in my
Mhm.
author's note, I say this is not a rom-com, so don't go into it expecting something light. Like you might cry. I cried writing it for sure. And yes, it was
Aw.
intentional to do that. And I think because I wanted the book to reflect real life, it was also intentional to have those lighter moments because nothing is all bad or all good. We have to have that balance of light and dark. And yeah, it was definitely intentional to because I think even in darkness, you find a lot of funny moments. Some of my favorite,
Mhm.
dramas on TV are hilarious. So I definitely want to, try and strike that balance between them.
I think there's a real clear theme of second chances in this book as
Mhm,
well, and
mhm.
not just for Eve, but for other characters as well. Why was that important for you to explore?
I think it's really important that we know we don't have to get it right the first time. As you said, life throws us curveballs all the time and we have to readjust. And, for Jamie, for instance, he didn't go to college when he wanted to because he was trying
Mhm.
to, stay around for his family. And, it bothered him all this time, but there was no reason he couldn't go back. He has the means, the money, the time. So, yeah, I think it's important that we, no matter what our age, we realize life is not over till it's over. So take your second, third, fourth, whatever chance you need to feel complete and to find your happiness.
Yeah, and I really love that, right? Because again, going back to, in particular, I think women in their 30s and trying to figure things out, uh, you
Mhm.
know, if you get stuck in that place of like, this is my only opportunity, um,
Mhm.
you lose a lot of living in the moment.
Exactly. Yeah. I think and part of it was living through the pandemic and sort of realizing
Hmm.
like, you think that as you said, things are going this one way and then life, the world, the whole world is thrown this
Yeah.
huge curveball and you kind of reevaluate what do I want? What does this mean to me? And yeah, I think I especially wanted women, especially Black women, to know, it is okay. You do not have to be perfect to deserve grace, to deserve a second chance to start over if you need to. Find your happiness however you need to.
Okay. Without giving too much away, I kind of want to put you on the spot here. Was there a scene that was maybe especially fun or maybe emotional for you to write? I mean, you mentioned you actually cried when you were writing the book.
Yes. So the scene I cried at would probably be giving too much away, but I will say it's
Okay.
toward the end of the book. Especially fun to write. This is probably strange, but I love writing arguments. So anytime where they get to just sort of go back and forth and be sort of biting toward each other is my favorite thing.
Well, you know what? It's probably because after every argument, you're like, man, if I had only said X, Y, or Z, right? And so
Yes,
now you get a chance
exactly.
to do
I get
that.
to craft the perfect arguments.
I love it. The other thing I want to mention and talk about is the fact that you were part of Reese Witherspoon's book club Lit Up Fellow program. Can you
Yes.
talk to us a little bit about this? I mean, we all know who Reese Witherspoon is and what she's done, I think, really in such a tremendous, wonderful way is to get people
Mhm.
to pick up books and read again. But
Yeah.
she's taken this one step farther, and and you've been a part of this.
Yes. I remember when I first started this journey, an agent asked me like, "What would your dream be?" And they said, "If you want to be a Reese's Book Club author, let me know." And I said, "Actually, yes, that's exactly what I want to be." And I then Lit Up came along. I remember it started in 2021, I believe, and it was the point of it was to help unagented, diverse women or non-binary
Hmm.
authors get into publishing, like just give them a little bit of a leg up in the publishing world. And so, you apply with your full manuscript and you just, I think it was hundreds of applicants that for my round, I was in the second round. And, it ended up being five of us who were chosen. Amazing, by the way. And yeah, we had a retreat. They give us a mentor to help us revising our manuscripts, and then we go into querying agents. And yeah, they hope they can't guarantee anything, but the hope is that you'll be able to sell a book and get it into readers' hands. And that's exactly what happened. And it really has been an amazing experience. I think the biggest thing for me is just like the community it's given me. It's really publishing is a really hard industry, and it's really hard to do it alone. You have to have a village. And so Lit Up gave
Hmm.
me that village of mentors and fellows that we have gone through these trenches together. And it's been really amazing to watch these other women thrive. And so, yeah, I'm so grateful for it.
Well, what's it also been like to know that there is a space for you know, women of color, non-binary people to be able to launch their careers? I think
Mhm.
especially in the space that you're writing in, um, there tends to really be more white authors than we see, and then there are these voices that get overlooked.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that that is a big part of the mission. I know like when I'm on Instagram, Bookstagram, and you're looking in the romance genre, especially, it's mostly the bookstagrammers of color who are covering our books, and the white readers are not so much. That's not to say they don't at all, but I get really
Hmm.
disappointed when I see everything that they're reading is just kind of white. And so yeah, I think Reese's mission and the people who run Lit Up, they really had a mission to say, well, let's uplift these people, push them in your face so that you cannot ignore them. And yeah, let's have a conversation because I think that it came out of what happened in 2020. I think a lot of people had to reckon with what they were or weren't doing as far as diversity, and publishing was one of
Hmm.
those things. And they started saying things like Black voices matter and your stories matter and things like that. And I think Lit Up really they rose to the occasion and put their what's the phrase? Money where their mouth is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I love that they are actually following through and making sure that we are seen. And as I said, they can't guarantee anything, but it's a huge help to say, hey, Reese's Book Club is going to help us promote this book if you buy it.
Well, and I'll tell you this, as I said, I mean, you're already getting a lot of great feedback on this book.
Yeah.
What has that been like for you to hear what people are saying about this novel?
It's been incredibly gratifying. I had no idea how this would be received. Like I could not believe I even got into Lit Up, and I'm always like, guys, are you sure that you're talking about my book? Because I don't
No
know if that's
imposter syndrome. No imposter
I
syndrome.
do. Me and Eve
You
both have the same issue. We have anxiety and imposter syndrome. But yeah, no, it's been insane to just sort of see readers tagging me and things like that. I have made a promise to myself to ignore Goodreads, so I haven't been like seeking out reviews, but the ones that come to me have been incredible. A lot. I just got a Library Journal starred review, which was I cried. So yeah, it's
uh,
been wonderful. It's been wonderful to see this book reach readers and how they're responding. I could never have
well,
imagined this.
well, soak it all in because my next question is this, and I'm sure you've been
Okay.
asked this. What's next? I mean, is there going to be a sequel? Do you have another story set up already? Because you know
Gosh.
this one is going to do well. So you also know that readers are going to expect something else from you.
I do know that. And I my wish was that I could have finished my second book before this one came out, but it has not worked out that way. So I don't know.
That's all
I
right.
really don't know. I would love to explore. I would love to see Eve and Jamie again. I would also love to explore Eve's best friend Maya and her relationship, but we just
Mm.
haven't decided exactly what that's going to be. So maybe I'll let the reader feedback kind of guide me on where to go next.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. It has just been a pleasure.
Oh, same here. Thank you so much for having me.
You are more than welcome. We've been talking with author Ashley Jordan about her new novel, Once Upon a Time in Dollywood. Pick up a copy for yourself. And that'll do it for this episode of Idaho Matters. Thanks so much for listening. And just a reminder, you can find all of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts.